This is the Flashbang versus the level 100 target with the goal of getting it done in less than 15 minutes of damage. Hey everyone, Derpy here, welcome to another Battle Pirates video. Let's go ahead and get started. I will say that this is a tricky target and there are quite a few things you need to pay attention to. The first one is that when you're engaging these Praetorians here, you want to make sure you stay moving at roughly max speed and roughly max range. This is because their weapons are dumbfire, so you don't want to take too much damage. Also notice I did turn around there. That was to avoid the submarine just off on the right side of the screen. You really want to make sure you're not taking any damage from that. Now this submarine is pretty interesting because the torpedoes tend to target the last ship in your fleet. Now, I actually don't have a fifth ship because I'm doing my standard build version of you have 4 ships at a very high upgrade level compared to 5 ships at a medium upgrade level, and it does work quite well. Moving across the target, we're ignoring that entire center part for now, and we're going to kill this Gridiron's Monolith, which is the best garrison flagship we've ever had. Now, when I kill that, you notice that I'm going to stay moving. I do have a ton of extra speed on my fleet, which is why it works so well. I'm able to kill that with no extra damage, no damage from the mortars across my entire ships, or my entire fleet. Now, for this submarine right here, torpedoes are blocked by land if they haven't yet fired. So if I hang out right here in this exact spot, this ship, the Spectre, is going to come around to me, and it's not going to fire off a single shot, a single salvo, a single volley, because it can't reach me, I'm behind land. And because I'm just behind regular land tiles and not mountains, I can kill this for no damage. Otherwise, the torpedoes, which I do not believe were present in the VXP targets, are going to target ship number 4 or 5 in your fleet, the last one you've got here. Now this is pretty tricky to get the range right. You have to go just barely get the range right here, otherwise it's going to take a few shots off at you. If it does get any shots off at you, just go ahead and run in, charge it, kill it quickly. Don't worry about it too much. If it shoots you once, like it did right there, it shoots you once, but I avoided 2 or 3 volleys there by zooming out and killing it pretty far away. These next 2 Praetorians are the same as the previous 2, just go in and stay moving here, and stay moving the entire time even after you pass them. I really didn't do that very well last time. At this point, you'll notice that my damage is fairly consistent. The flagship has a little bit, but ship number 2 has a ton. For whatever reason, ship 2 was focused that time by that 1 volley of torpedoes that did hit. We're not going to worry about that too much. Next round of Praetorians here, just go ahead and stay moving at max range, although that does reduce the damage that your weapons do as well, which is interesting, and kill them. You may have to drive past them and come back depending on if you have enough DPS to kill them in terms of the stun and actually getting out of range beforehand. Now we're going to duck down here and trigger this Spectre, that's the submarine right here, and just get it moving towards you. As soon as it does that, I'm going to run away. I don't want to take any damage if I don't have to from this, and this is a pretty easy land tile to hide behind. You'll notice I did take quite a bit of damage from that 1 volley there. It got off at me a little bit too early. Now we're going to circle back against this Gridiron's Monolith, stay moving here, and try and stay behind the land tile just because things are not going to go too well. If you're out here exposed, the enemy Spectre does have a longer range than you. You're also noticing I'm dealing with a little bit of lag issues here, even though I had 50 FPS. I'm not quite sure why that is. Alright, that ship is dead, and we did take an extra volley there, unfortunately, so I am taking more damage than I prefer. We're just going to park right here behind the land tile and kill the ship. After this is dead in the target, and it is stunned too, you've got this big, I'm not sure what this is, one of those drone hurricane ships right there, and we also have another 2 ships right here. I'm going to go ahead and engage these ones just to get them moving here and duck back behind land. Notice that I have a very high speed ship. This is because I've got 2 D-35S cannons on here, which is that purple fire you can see. That is literally just to outrun the mortars and the rockets from these targets. They serve no other purpose than just pure combat speed. I do find I am lacking a little bit in DPS, but that may be because I have a mix of the limited and the regular weapons on my fleet. So I'm not going to go up and engage this Gridiron's Monolith right here when the other ship, the Spectre, can hit me here. I'm going to try to use this land again, although it is going to be much harder for this. You do just have to make sure you are not going to be doubling back and getting hit by those mortars because they do hurt, especially if you auto. When I auto, I get roughly 1 hour and 38 minutes damage, which is a lot for this target if I'm trying to drive it for 15 minutes repair. Alright, moving around here, and let's go ahead and kill this. When it is stunned, you can stop a little bit. Just make sure you start moving before it unstuns, otherwise you're going to have a pretty sad day. Alright, we're doing pretty well here. We're pulling the ships down towards the bottom here so we can hide behind the land tile, very similar to the previous time we did that. Just note that these ships can sort of fire through or over mountains if they fire before you are behind the mountain. So if they fire it, the torpedoes can go through. Don't ask me why, I don't know. Now that the ship is coming around, we're going to go ahead and duck behind the mountains back here, so it's going to move down is the idea. If I'm behind this land when the Spectre is shooting at me, I should be fine. I should be totally out of range. I will mention that honestly, in most cases, I tend to just charge them and kill them quickly, but if you want the least possible damage, you're going to want to use the land tile tricks right here. So just go ahead and park right behind here, and this is a pretty easy one compared to the first one. You can kill it no problem. By the way, I also do have a Sea Serpent's crew on right now. I find the majority of the damage I take, at least over the 5-minute instant repair, is concussive, and I want to avoid that damage if at all possible. This ship is going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a beating. You just want to make sure you stay moving here. If you can try and aim your turnaround times when it has already fired or it's stunned, that's great. Just stay at max range of your ship and within the minimum range of this firing arc right here. I don't think I've even ever been caught in it in the 100 target, although I wouldn't recommend it. There's the target. It is about 6 minutes to complete here, so that's a little bit of a sort of long time. Depending on how you feel about the target and driving it, you may auto it, although it is going to be a little bit harder. In terms of damage taken, it is mostly explosive here, although the explosive damage is very well spread out and the concussive damage is not very. This evaded category is all the misses from these torpedoes. They are missing a lot and not really hitting. I don't have any antis on my ship again. The damage that I'm dealing is a mix of concussive and explosive due to my heavy weapon being on there, and the total repair time is 14 minutes and 27 seconds. Let's go ahead and go back to base and check what the repair time actually is on that fourth ship, because that is what is important. Although it may have prioritized ship 2 for some reason this time, I couldn't really tell you why it does that. Of course, the build is the same across all 4 ships, although I am still missing armor on one of them. Flag is up to U2. One ship is already at U3, one ship is also at U3, and one ship is at X1. I'm going to try and get a second one to X1 fairly quickly before the raid is over so that I can reduce my damage, and that X1 does give you a bit of a combat speed boost. As you can see here, repair is, a few ships are instant, which is great, so these ships are going to repair very quickly. Once my speed up bar loads here, it's been a little bit slow lately. 2 ships at 5 minutes repair, that's great. I'm going to go ahead and speed that one up. And 1 ship, in terms of the flag, this is at 3 minutes, which I'm thinking is pretty high because of the upgrade level only being U2. And then for whatever reason, the ship that got targeted this time was my U3 ship with no armor, and that is 6 minutes and 26 seconds repair. Couldn't tell you why that one has more. The torpedoes just like to target these things more. Maybe also took more explosive damage because I don't have any armor on here yet, but that is going to go on fairly soon. If I would do anything, I would put an X1 ship in your last spot with 4 concussive armor, just to try and avoid this concussive damage. Although when you do that, the game will inevitably target a different ship for some random reason. And again, I am using a Sea Serpent's crew. I hope this video helps. I did show you my build. It is also going to be in my builds document, which is linked in the YouTube description. If you have any questions at all on this target, go ahead and let me know. I'm also going to get other videos up this entire raid for the level 101 as well as the 500. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you to those whose names appear on screen now, and until next time, as always, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.